Oh, 2024 is 2024ing. Oh my God. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Today is September 26th of 2024, and we only have a few more days left, and we're done with 2024. But 2024 ain't done with us. We woke up this morning to news that the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, has been indicted on federal charges in a criminal investigation. Oh. So Puffy is not the only one indicted on federal charges during a criminal investigation. Now, of course, it might be a different set of charges that Mayor Eric Adams is facing, but we'll get into the details so you understand a little bit what is happening here. These federal charges Wednesday night trailed a tumultuous year of investigation into Eric Adams and the key city officials. I don't know if y'all realize, but a lot of people had stepped down recently, vacated their positions, kind of similar to what's happening around Puff Daddy right now. A lot of powerful people were put on notice. Hey, this is a RICO case. We're looking for other people who might have participated with him, who might have enabled him, who might have been around, involved with, facilitated. So we're putting you on notice. In other words, get your attorneys ready in case your name comes up in this. People started running, leaving their positions, CEOs stepping down. The same thing was happening around Mayor Eric Adams, and we who are so caught up in our everyday lives and everything else that is going on, the approach of the election, Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, all this other stuff, we didn't see this happening. I had no idea that Mayor Eric Adams was coming from a meeting one day, an event, when the feds pulled up on him and confiscated his cell phone and his iPad. Took away the man's electronics. Now you the mayor of a city and the feds roll up on you and tell you to surrender your cell phones and your iPads. And they seized these devices off of the mayor. That happened around November of 2023. At the same time around November of 2023, the feds ran in and searched the home of a person whose name is Brianna Suggs. Now, Brianna Suggs is very close to Mayor Adams. Brianna Suggs, by the way, used to be or probably is a top fundraiser for Mayor Adams during the time when he was campaigning to become mayor. And then there's another person who's called Rana Abasova. Rana Abasova worked in the mayor's international affairs office. Now, at the time when they asked Mayor Eric Adams, what's going on with these people's house being raided and they being searched by the feds? And he said, quote unquote, I have full confidence in Suggs' integrity. And then they came for him. And then they took his cell phone and his iPad. That was about November of 2023. Then came around February or March, sometime around then of 2024. And then the feds ran in and raided another home, which is the Directors of Asian Affairs home, Winnie Greco. I didn't see the connection. And then that's February, right? About February, March. And then by June, July, sometime around then, the feds started digging into Eric Adams' own dealings with other countries. So they started requesting information from many different countries, places like Uzbekistan, places like South Korea, and these types of places like China, these kinds of places. I'm thinking they're probably doing a probe trying to get to the people around him. That's about June, July, right? July, August, June, July, sometime around then. And then you have around August, September, sometime around then, the feds, again, runs in, raids the home that is shared by New York City's public school chancellor, David Banks, and First Deputy Mayor, Sheena Wright. Then they also raided the home of Philip Banks, the Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Brothers of School Chancellor. So they not only raided the home off, they raided the family, extended family's home off. This is starting to get hairy, and it's looking to people like, okay, so there's something deeper going on here. What the hell is going on? All in the meantime, Mayor Eric Adams is campaigning, smiling, kissing babies, waving to the crowd, hugging moms and dads, doing his mayoral duties, basically. Then come around September, there were more raids and more probes into more persons all the way down. And then when September hit and the NYPD commissioner, Edward Caban, the feds ran in on him, seized his cell phones, just like they seized Mayor Eric Adams' cell phones a couple of months prior. They ran in on the NYPD commissioner, seized his cell phones as well. I'm like, okay, things are getting weird. And then, of course, people started stepping down from their positions. People started running for the hills, really. When you see people step down from their positions, and these are hefty positions with power and carries a big paycheck, right around the time when the feds start ruffling feathers and digging and moving furnitures, so to speak, just know that even though they might not be involved, they don't want to be caught up when it all comes down. It's kind of like the people around Puffy right now, or Diddy right now. Whoever is liquidating their assets, moving their money to safe places, heading to countries where there are no extradition or no extradition treaties with the United States of America, it's all about being safe and getting away. And people were making those moves recently around Mayor Eric Adams. And then I woke up this morning and the headline this morning says, New York Mayor Eric Adams has been charged in an indictment following a federal corruption investigation. Now, they're saying it's not really clear what the charges are or what the investigation is related to. But the files are still sealed. Remember when they took Puffy before the judge and it says the unsealed indictment, or was the sealed indictment rather, was unsealed, or the indictment will be unsealed once you're standing before the judge? This tells me that there's an arrest coming down the pipeline for Mayor Eric Adams. An arrest, meaning they're about to put him in handcuffs, take him to jail, treat him just like P. Diddy. I don't know if he'll be able to get bail. I'm guessing he might be able to get bail, but the way they're moving right now, we will have to see what happens. Now, lawyers for the mayor could not be reached. News media houses have all reported they're reaching out to the attorneys. They're trying to get something substantial they can tell us on the outside looking in. But there isn't really anything that's being said. Now, I'll give you this. New York City came under a lot of stress and pressure under Mayor Eric Adams. Particularly, the immigrant issue was a big deal. I remember Mayor Eric Adams saying, send them. And that is why Texas and Florida, their mayors said, okay, we'll send them because we don't want the borders open, a whole bunch of illegal people or a whole bunch of people being let into the country, and we don't have the time to vet everybody. So obviously criminals are going to be coming across the border along with people who are desperate for a better life. We're not vetting everybody, but we don't want a whole bunch of these people just dropped in the middle of Florida, just dropped in the middle of Texas, and then they start spreading out to different cities in our states, and then it becomes a problem to our citizens. We don't want them here. So what those states did was, when Mayor Eric Adams says send them, those states applied for grants through the government, which allowed them to get access to money and resources. So they purchased buses, and these buses were used to round up these immigrants coming in and bus them to the states where the mayors said, send them, we will take them. And they sent them to New York, among other places. This is how New York became flooded with these immigrants all over the streets, and a lot of New Yorkers complaining about it. A lot of New Yorkers, by the way, calling for the resignation of Mayor Eric Adams. Now, I don't know of anything else that Mayor Eric Adams might have done wrong. I wonder if Mayor Eric Adams and the others who are stepping down are connected to the P. Diddy freak-offs. Let's not forget, P. Diddy held parties that hosted some of the most powerful and influential people, not only in the entertainment industry, not only in music and entertainment, not only in movies, Hollywood, but also in politics, also in business, CEOs of top Fortune 500 companies. So it's very possible that all this is the feds just piecing the pieces together. Now that's just me guessing or thinking outside the box. But if it's not, then I don't know what they're going after Mayor Eric Adams for. Yeah, some people are going to say, look, he's a black man, so he is targeted. And as you can see, all black men who become powerful then become targeted because the goal is to take them down, and the goal is to make everybody believe that they're black so they could never be good leaders in the positions that they had attained, which is not true. I don't know if that is the case either. All I know is, headline says, he's been indicted. And the indictment is still sealed. In order to unseal that indictment, there's going to be an arrest. And he'll have to stand before a judge where that indictment is unsealed. They said that Mayor Eric Adams had traveled to Washington the day of the Suggs raid. His campaign leader, when he was campaigning for mayor, when Suggs' house was raided, he traveled to meet with White House officials about the city's migrant crisis. But he turned back and he canceled all his meetings after that news broke. And 4 days later is when the feds stopped him on the streets and seized his cell phone and his iPad. Mayor Eric Adams should have known that something was coming down the pipeline. And like I said, I'm out here keeping you up to date with what is going on. 2024 seems like an episode of Power, a series. You know, if you ever watch Power, this is what it is. You know, this is a Netflix series gone bad. I'm going to leave this one right here for now. All I can say is, before all this, Mayor Eric Adams gave P. Diddy the keys to the city. And then when people were shouting for him to take it back, as all the information about Diddy's dealings started to become public, he eventually requested for it to come back. But not in a way as the people wanted it. They wanted him to snatch it back. But he kind of was like, Diddy don't look good, whatever. And Diddy was like, okay, I'll hand it back off to you then. Right? Now, Mayor Eric Adams has a long history of service. And I'm talking about honorable service as a top cop, police officer first in New York City. So he walked the beat before. But let's not forget, remember that other bishop? He's called the Bling Bishop, the Brooklyn Bling Bishop. Yes, Lamar, whatever his name was. I'll put his picture up too. He was also connected with Mayor Eric Adams because he said he would tell people that Mayor Eric Adams is a close friend of his, and he had lots of pictures with Mayor Eric Adams. And Mayor Eric Adams came out and said, I don't know that guy like that. I'm just somebody who was, as a cop, walking the beat. I would meet him, and he seems to be, one of those kind of forward go-getter guys. This is how Mayor Eric Adams explained how he ended up in pictures that looked very intimate, as in friendly brotherhood, close to the Brooklyn Bling Bishop, who was recently also hit with these types of charges, found guilty of scamming his parishioners, taking their money, telling them he was going to buy them nice houses with it, and then ghosting them while he was living in a mansion, driving $100,000 vehicles. And he is now, Bishop Lamar, the Bling Bishop from Brooklyn, is now doing a lot of time in the feds. So it's funny to see Diddy, who Mayor Eric Adams just gave the keys to the city to and had to rescind, and then the Bling Bishop from Brooklyn, also connected to Mayor Eric Adams' name, and then these federal charges or federal indictment. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm sure the next episode will be even more exciting than this one. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.